Hello everyone. My group members and I have created this video to present our investigation on how information technology has impacted education in today's society. Our argument in this video serves to state and prove the negative effects information technology has brought to our education systems all over the world.
Information technology is going to lead to lack of focus. As education is the acquisition of knowledge, knowledge can be gained by transferring information via memory consolidation model. However, handheld devices and the internet distract people from focusing on what they should be doing.
To understand how information technology has impacted education, one should look at it from a scientific point of view. How does the brain store information? How do students attain a better understanding of the concepts they're trying to study? How does information technology affect the brain's natural learning process?
Knowledge is not information fragments. It is the application and connection of information fragments, descriptions, and skills. It can be theoretical and practical understanding of a subject.
A good model to explain the brain's memory capabilities is memory consolidation. Memory consolidation is the process of converting short-term memories into long-term memories. To understand this, think of each memory being synced up to a group of neurons in your brain. Every time these same group of neurons fire up, you're able to remember a certain memory. However, to get these neurons to sync up perfectly with one another, one must review whatever it is they're trying to remember in a reoccurring time interval, and this has to be done over a prolonged period of time. That being said, information technology makes it difficult for students to develop a good long-term memory. The convenience of information technology has decreased the amount of time spent looking for information. This will overall make it harder for students to attain a healthy long-term memory.
More information does not equal to more knowledge. Devices and services such as smartphones and social medias developed from information technology provide plenty of information, but most of them are meaningless. This meaningless information is causing the lack of focus, which is critical to the memory consolidation model.
The following clip is an excerpt of a speech given by Nicholas Carr, whom explains how information technology has affected one's ability to learn.
At what the internet and all this technology is actually doing to the way we think, the picture gets much, much darker. And it all has to do with how our brains transform information, mere information, into knowledge, giving us the ability to think deeply, to think rich thoughts, to think conceptually and critically. And the way this happens really has a lot to do with two forms of memory. On the one hand, you have what's called your working memory, and that's basically the contents of your conscious mind at any given moment. It's what you're thinking about. And what we know about working memory is it has a very, very tiny capacity. You can only fit about 2 to 4 elements of information in your conscious mind at any given moment. And then the other form of memory is what we refer to when we refer to memory, which is our long-term memory. And this has an enormous capacity. In fact, nobody's ever filled up their long-term memory. Nobody's ever said, that's it, can't remember anything anymore, it's full. So it's incredibly expansive, incredibly large. And the key to deep thinking is being able to take the information that's coming into your mind, from what you're learning, the conversations you're having, what you're reading, this very, very small capacity of working memory, and transfer it to your long-term memory. And that's a process called memory consolidation. And it's only during memory consolidation that you connect that new piece of information to everything else you've learned and thought and experienced in your life. And it turns out knowledge isn't about these fragments of information that we can pick up all the time today. It's about the connections and associations that we make inside our own brains among all the pieces of information we gather. It's only when you make those connections that you get rich thinking, rich knowledge. Maybe, if you're lucky, you even end up with some wisdom. The problem is that there is a break. It's very easy to break this consolidation process. Because you have such a small capacity in your conscious mind, if you're overloaded with information, nothing stays there very, very long. Because in order to take in that new tweet or notification or Facebook update or Google result, you have to clear out something that's already in your conscious mind. And what we know about the consolidation process is it only happens when we're attentive, only happens when we concentrate for some period of time on new information. It's attention that triggers the transfer of information to our long-term memory and allows us to create all of these connections. And what we've created for ourselves with this rich, vibrant digital environment is a constant source of disruption, interruption, distraction. That means we're never keeping information long enough in our attention to form these rich connections.
Overuse of information technology can lead to addiction. Children and adults are becoming too dependent on the use of internet and technology. It is even proof that physical addiction on the internet exists, which has a similar addiction symptom of those experienced by gamblers and alcoholics. People's memories are becoming weaker as they become more reliant on externally available information and less focused on remembering things. Addiction and overuse of the internet also lead to procrastination, as people will watch Netflix and play video games to avoid starting new tasks.
Due to this technological addiction epidemic, students will be more likely to procrastinate while they're supposed to be studying at home or paying attention in class. Online social services like Facebook and Twitter, as well as online movie services like Netflix, make it easy for individuals to open a new tab and switch between what they should be doing to what they are not supposed to be doing. This essentially creates a society of students that are almost never away from technology. Whether it be schoolwork or their own recreational purposes, they are always reliant on their devices.
Information technology is also going to affect the quality of teaching. Depth of the learning content isn't as deep as it should be. Quantity of topics covered is larger, but depth and understanding is affected. In addition, essential work skills such as note-taking and communications are missing as well.
The following bar graph portrays the overall quality of education scores for South Korea, the United States of America, as well as the overall world average. This scoring system was developed by OECD, and it scores countries based on student and teaching excellence, as well as educational infrastructure. South Korea, being a less tech-savvy country and having one of the highest educational scores, is proof as to why information technology serves to hinder education.
BYOD, Bring Your Own Device policy. While classrooms are still the most common place for students to access computers at school, reported by 96% of schools, some 58% say kids use their own smartphones or tablets. 42% of students do not use their own smartphones or tablets, which places an unfair advantage to those students who do have such devices. Students with such devices have a significant advantage on searching for information to help them understand course materials better.
In conclusion, we believe that information technology does not benefit a student's education. Information technology has been proved to lower attention span and overall focus of all students alike. Information technology also goes against the brain's natural learning process, which enables students to take many different types of learning shortcuts. Information technology in the classroom feeds the procrastinators, as the internet is vast with many things available at anyone's disposal. Assignments or projects that require students to bring a certain device into the classroom put lower income students at a disadvantage, as they are not able to sometimes afford these so-called devices. Though information technology may pose to be beneficial in specific types of classes, we still believe it to be detrimental to education overall. Education is most effective when done the old conventional methods with books, pencils, and paper. Thank you all for watching, and if you have any questions or concerns, please leave a comment under this thread.